Vladimir Klitschko trainer Jonathan Banks says Deontay Wilder was dropped, but he was never knocked out by Klitschko in sparring. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, the Cash App, and the Patreon family. Reworking. Now, sign up for ESPN Plus below using my link. It definitely helps the channel, and I appreciate to the people who have already used the link to support the channel. Now, I got to talk about this. I want to make a quick video regarding this circumstance, and let's get it. So, Jonathan Banks, the trainer of Klitschko, has come out and said that Deontay Wilder was not ever knocked out cold by Klitschko in sparring years ago when they sparred. However, Klitschko did catch him and drop him. Now, this is coming like a week or so after there was a report and headlines surfaced that Dillian Whyte claims he was in camp or something with Klitschko, and he watched Deontay Wilder when, you know, before obviously Wilder was a champion and this known commodity, but he was saying he was basically in camp and he witnessed Klitschko, or he knows. I don't know if he said he was there or if he's going off of Johnny Nelson, you know, basically two UK guys between Johnny Nelson and Dillian Whyte. But Dillian Whyte is the one who spread this. He said that Wilder was knocked out cold. He was on the ground and he was twitching. Now Jonathan Banks comes out and says, hey, I was in charge of rounding up the sparring partners. So I actually handpicked these guys to be in camp with Klitschko to prepare him for whatever fight he was preparing for. And simply put, that didn't happen. He said he did get dropped at a point, but it was never a situation where he was like convulsing on the ground or knocked out. So another L for the UK. This is really a bad look. The clout chasing. Whether Dillian Whyte, I don't remember if Dillian Whyte said he was there or if he knows that Wilder was knocked out. Whatever the situation, it's a bad look because you have someone who definitely was there. And the funny thing is, I interviewed Jonathan Banks, you know, when he was an active fighter too, and he was still training Klitschko when Klitschko was a champion. So we all know that he was his trainer. He's the one that says he was in charge of round, you know, he's a trainer. So he got the sparring partners in camp. So he's the one that sought out rising star at the time, Deontay Wilder, for camp for, you know, I don't know if Klitschko was training for Brian Jennings or whatever year this was. We've seen pictures of, I think it was Wilder's birthday in camp and they got him a cake, stuff like that. Just regular sportsmanship and sparring partner camaraderie. So this is, you know, like I said, it's a bad look for Dillian Whyte and Johnny Nelson, who have repeated this story and claimed something else. They said Wilder was knocked out. Wilder has done interviews where he said, nah, that wasn't the case, but they claim it. And, you know, the UK is looking bad with these types of stories. Like, I remember a lot of UK fans in the comment section said that Wilder was getting worked over by David Haye because David Haye released a clip. It was like a montage, and it was one time where he brought Wilder in camp. But the funny thing about that clip, another UK fighter who sparred with Wilder, is even though that brief clip surfaced, it was snippets, so we don't really know what was happening. So, you know, that's a highlight reel. Anybody could show your best. I could do, you know, Aaron Hernandez highlight reel and show you all the awesome catches, you know, but that doesn't put the full picture into context if you know the story. You get what I'm saying? So anyone can make a highlight reel of some stuff and just the best moments, but you watch the Netflix docu-series with Aaron Hernandez, you'll get to see some of the other parts, the unfortunate sides of his story. You get what I'm saying? Versus all of him, his tight end catches and stuff. You know, it's just you can in a montage you can manipulate what people feel based on edits and stuff like that. So the funny thing is, I remember UK fans would use that clip like, oh, Wilder got destroyed, look, haha. But every single time I hear an interview to this day, Wilder voice, to this day, I hear David Haye, and he's always singing Wilder's praises, saying this man is dangerous. You got to be switched on. You got to pay attention. I've never been hit harder by anybody. His power is a 10 out of 10. He said all this in several interviews throughout this several years. After that happened, when he was an active fighter to now the retired fighter and the promoter. And he's always said this. So, shout out to David Haye for keeping the buck and being a real one. And it's just funny that people have to stoop to certain levels to try to shame someone. Like for the thing is, like Dillian Whyte, first of all, I thought is what happens in sparring is supposed to stay in sparring. I know of fighters for sure that got knocked out, that you guys all know, but I would never repeat that stuff because it's not, that's the quickest way to get put out of boxing if you're, a reporter and you just go blabbermouthing everything you see at a gym, but that it's just a thing about integrity and respect. Sparring is like an actor in his trailer rehearsing for the scene. If you kill the scene, who cares? If you get an Oscar for what was depicted on film and under the bright lights and you murder the scene, I don't care about Leo DiCaprio's bloopers in the trailer or Denzel Washington. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, Jake. Yeah, this paper's 95% bullshit, but and he's stuttering and stuff. But it's entertaining. But it's entertaining. You won't let me read it. Now you entertain me with your bullshit. Yeah. Like, it's just somebody practicing. That's what sparring is, to get you ready for the big moments. So for Dillian Whyte to, run out and tell somebody was already a bad look. But then to come and find out from Klitschko's own trainer that what he depicted and what he said didn't happen. He said that Wilder was on the ground, like twitching, like when Wilder knocked out Sergey Likovich or whatever his name was. That's a far cry from what Jonathan Banks is saying, getting dropped. You don't think Floyd Mayweather's been dropped in sparring, but what happens in his fights? You get what I'm saying? So it's a bad look. I don't have to really say too much more. Dillian Whyte still ain't getting the Wilder fight this year, so it makes you look salty, and it takes a chip at your credibility when you spread stuff that can't be corroborated by the people closest. Like Dillian Whyte is playing like childish games because he wants to fight Wilder, like he's name calling and schoolhouse disses and stuff like that. So why would I believe his version of events rather than the trainer, who's a soft-spoken former fighter himself, and he's not really looking, he's not like this wild trainer that's just going crazy. He's just like, I've interviewed him. He was a real quiet, like I had to turn up the volume and stuff when I was interviewing him. He's just soft-spoken, professional, about his business, So, of course, I'm going to believe him as opposed to Dillian Whyte, who's screaming, I've been waiting 500 days, 800 days, and stuff like that, because who's more neutral in the situation? Jonathan Banks is not an active fighter. He don't have no beef with Wilder. I've never heard him say anything bad about Dillian Whyte, Wilder, Klitschko, or any of them dudes. He seems pretty level-headed. So it's just a bad look when you spread misinformation. But this is what Rematch Room and Eddie Hearn and Joshua and Dillian Whyte have done for some time. So it's a bad look. I had to make a follow-up video to the comments that's coming from Jonathan Banks. Let me know what you guys think and what you think of the situation. Wilder was not knocked out. And then if we're raving because he got knocked down by Klitschko, what bearing does that have on the man you see before you, the champion? Because I'll have you know, when Wilder fought and sparred against Klitschko was a champion and Wilder wasn't, So I've heard of a lot of stuff in sparring. They say Badu Jack gave Jean Pascal, a beating in sparring. But then when they just fought, they hurt each other, and Jean Pascal was able to retain his titles. They said Lucien Bute gave Jean Pascal tough sparring and beat him in sparring. But then when they fought, Lucien Bute looked horrible, and Pascal was kind of playing with them in Canada. So, you know, we've heard these sparring stories. That's why sparring should just be sparring and stay in the gym. People over glorify this, you know, and it's just, this is why. And this time it came and it blew up and backfired in Dillian Whyte's face, because all these assaults on Deontay Wilder's character, it still don't give you the fight. And then now that the information wasn't true, it just makes you look bad. Let me know what you guys think. If you love what I'm doing, smash the like button as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.
So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button. And you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.